DC4LA. We're downtown Los Angeles, pursuit of a stolen vehicle. You'll have to pardon us here as we just mine through these buildings. This is one of the trickier spots for us in the helicopter to be able to keep track of this car, but we just saw it going about 80 miles an hour up Hill Street. Really, it was on the freeway when we picked it up. This started right around there. I mean, we started following it right around the 10 freeway, heading northbound on the 110. Second and Hill is what we are here. All right. All right, yeah, so 110 freeway southbound. Southbound 110, yeah. I have. All right, yep, we are all good. You will just have to mind our shot here, though. We are coming up on the edge of the LAX Bravo, so that is going to prevent us from getting right up over top of this. We're going to try to keep the tightest shot as we can for you, but my pilot George is going to work his best to get in a spot that we can keep this for you as we traverse through the LAX Bravo. Or around the LAX Bravo. That's if there's any way. So yeah, thank you for bearing with us here as this shot is getting a little bit further away from us, but we are going to just, if you'll bear with me, we'll push in with the doubler to try to get the best shot that we possibly can for you. So you can really see this driver going at high rate of speed. We clocked him going 90 miles an hour up Hill Street at one point. We picked it up around the 110 freeway going northbound really past the 10 freeway. And then it exited right right around Dodger Stadium. Right through Chinatown was when it picked up the most speeds through some of the side streets, and then reversed course and now is heading back southbound on the 110 freeway. The initial want was a stolen vehicle, so officers are behind the suspect. It just want to make sure they get this driver apprehended. So we're pulling into that part of the 105 and 110 interchange where the 110 goes underneath the 101. So just bear with us as we'll keep an eye on it and see whether this driver is going to be going southbound on the 110 or going to be headed eastbound or westbound on the 105. Right? It appears to be headed eastbound on the 105. Correct. George, I'm shooting at my about 2 o'clock. I'm shooting at my 2 o'clock. Okay. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we are still going here on the 105 freeway. Going to be picking it back up shortly as we just come south on Alameda ourselves. So as you can see those other drivers around it, I mean, this driver is going at really, really fast speeds. Right now our mapping has it at about 97 miles per hour. So as you can see, passing the metro station there and really, really flying by some of this other traffic. So CHP is aware of this pursuit and they are getting into position. And now that we have gotten a little bit closer, let me just pull us out real quick. So, unlike many of the pursuits that we've seen, this doesn't appear to be a car with tinted windows. We can really kind of see inside. Just at that last turn, you can see the driver really yanking his or her head around to see the other cars around. Oh, a really, really tight turn there. So, I mean, it appears to be exiting the freeway here. And we have those ground units right behind. So, Long Beach Boulevard exiting here. I do not. Yeah, I've got no... Okay. Yep, so we're back on the 105 freeway here. We are back on the 105 freeway. This pursuit has, we've been over this for about 30 minutes now. We picked it up around the 110 freeway northbound. It was really right around the 10 freeway. We're going about 90 miles per hour. We saw it hit about 100 miles per hour. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Over this pursuit on the 105 freeway. We're headed westbound at the moment. This pursuit has been going, we've been following this for about 30 minutes now. It has spanned from the 110 freeway, exited in Chinatown, right on Hill Street, where we saw it going about 80 miles per hour through a really busy part of the city. It reversed course, and now it ended back up on the 110 freeway, headed southbound. Now we're on the 105, and we've already seen this driver reverse course once again. So it was going eastbound from the 110. Now we're headed back westbound towards the 110 once again. You can see the metro station right there. Copied. Yes. Yep, I got you now. I just got him. Sounds great. Yes, Kathy and Jonathan, I got you guys. What we've seen from the sky here is just a really, really high rate of speed. It's hard to see just how many people are inside the vehicle, but when we were just a little bit higher above this, we could see that these weren't tinted windows. So we will be able to see this if we get this driver to turn around once again, as we've seen a little bit earlier in this pursuit, already on our second freeway. So initially, we are getting reports here in the helicopter of a stolen vehicle, but we just want to confirm those reports up here in the chopper. But what I can tell you is that these speeds are definitely dangerous. I mean, if not a stolen vehicle, then reckless driving is definitely going to be added on.
Ryan, at this,
we picked it up on the 110 northbound, really right around the 110 and the 10. And that's where these speeds were going about 90 miles per hour. From there, we really just seen this driver drive exceptionally recklessly. Thankfully, there really aren't that many other drivers out here on the road. I mean, there are a few, and we've seen some close passes just like that. But thankfully, on this Saturday, the other things going on in Southern California, there's not as many people out on the road.
Yeah, what differentiates this from some of the other pursuits that we follow is this person isn't just trying to go along with traffic. They are desperately at each moment trying to evade police, weaving in and out of traffic, going at those excessive speeds, doing U-turns, and not obeying any traffic signals.
No, blowing through red lights when on the streets, and here weaving around cars. Even the officers there on the ground coming dangerously close to some of these, innocent drivers there on the freeway. And given that we are on the freeway, Ryan, is there any indication at this point, given that most of this chase has been on different freeways now, that the CHP would take over? We understand LAPD are in pursuit there on the ground, but with CHP, is there any talk about them taking over this chase, given that it's been on the freeway pretty consistently since we got over this chase?
Yeah, it's been some time. I mean, this driver has been reversing course, but CHP is getting over this. We're even hearing that the CHP plane is being brought into play here. So multiple different CHP units are getting into place to be able to pick up this driver.
And it's one of those situations where you really have to weigh, as a department, do you want to keep pushing this person on? It doesn't become too dangerous that you want to back up and just cover it from the air, maybe just follow what they're doing and keep track of them. But no, they are staying right behind. And so when did you first get word of this? How long are we looking at from when this started, the first call that came in of a stolen vehicle?
from what we've seen, I mean, it's about been 35 minutes from now, from when we got overhead on this, and we're still getting more reports in here. Ooh, that was a really, really close call there, as he was kind of merging over. We're getting close to the 405, and I believe if he continues merging to the right, we're going to be going 405 freeway here. So this driver is actually headed southbound if he continues underneath, so he's going to be in a tunnel right now, but this tunnel is going to spit out right here on the 405 southbound in just a moment from what I saw there. So just give this a moment. We are near LAX, so our pilot is going to have to keep us a little bit further away from that restricted airspace. But from what I saw, yep, we'll pick it right back up, 405 southbound. Is where we're picking this driver right back up, and still at speeds over 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, sometimes that odometer is not keeping up. This driver clearly has hit, flirting with the 100-mile-per-hour mark several times throughout this chase. Needless to say, this is extremely dangerous. And to Kathy, your point, we've seen speeds slower than this where these departments will go into what's called tracking mode, right, where they'll only allow the chopper to follow just because they don't want to egg that person on. But you see here now they're getting back on surface streets. And where are we exactly right now, Ryan?
Yeah, so he's going to be exiting El Segundo. So this is the 405 freeway at El Segundo. And we're going to see pretty much normally the rules of the road will only allow a right turn at that light. So he's going to be coming here underneath the 405 freeway on El Segundo. He's going to be headed eastbound. There is a chance that he hops back on the freeway here. But no. So, yeah, it's just going to be continuing eastbound on El Segundo. So we're going to be surface streets here.
Okay. How many close calls would you say you have seen? We're holding our breath when we see that car get a little bit too close, but how many would you say you've seen since you've been following?
So since we've been following this so far, I've counted about 4 close calls. I mean, it really, most of them were on the freeway as this driver was really swerving. And yeah, that was really kind of the first time I've seen a few different running of red lights. And a few near side swipes with other vehicles. Thankfully, I haven't seen anything definitive yet. But when it gets on these side streets like this, it gets increasingly dangerous.
Yeah, and the options become fewer and fewer. It's really hard. You talk about spike strips. We've seen them try to do that. It seems like it would be too dangerous. You certainly can't hit a driver like this going at these speeds. So you just have to stay behind and hope that something happens, that nothing terrible, but something happens to bring this driver to a stop somehow or disable the car in some way.
Yeah, Ryan, the issue here is with these speeds and the inconsistent driving, this person's seemingly not knowing where they're going. They're not circling by any means. There really is, the only option is to just follow. The speeds are far too high for even a pit maneuver at most times.
That's it. That's exactly right. And then just even though it is a little bit, more quiet on the roads this weekend, we really are still seeing a bunch of other, there are other vehicles and those pit maneuvers with the driver going at this rate of speed. It's just dangerous for not only the officers, this driver, but other people that are around.
Any word how many people are in the car? I know you can't really get a good look inside, but are you hearing anything about how many?
At this time, we don't have a definitive report. We are on that passenger side, and I really, from the sky, didn't see another person in the vehicle, but we really don't know for sure.
Look how close that patrol car is right now to the driver, really following closely.
Yes, absolutely, and we're crossing over the 105 freeway once again. So this driver is really kind of poking around between the 105 and then the 110 that they were on earlier. But now, as you can see, our shot is going to get a little bit further because heading towards that restricted airspace near LAX.
Ryan is referring to that area where we're not allowed to fly, where incoming planes are coming into the LAX area, so we have to keep our distance. He will be using his doubler on his lens there to keep an eye on this chase, to continue following it for us. Again, this happened around 35 to 40 minutes ago when police picked up this red reported stolen vehicle. The driver believed to be armed. Right now, that is LAPD directly behind this vehicle, which we've seen speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. on the freeways and certainly high speeds on surface streets as well.
And you were talking about the LAPD following this vehicle has been on the freeways. It's possible they bring in the CHP. They're already talking about getting the air support from CHP. But right now on surface streets, not a lot of traffic. That is the good news. But again, the driver not always obeying traffic lights.
Needless to say, and you see those officers there right behind this vehicle. I believe this is now in the Inglewood area. We first picked it up around Dodger Stadium through Chinatown and downtown, down the 110 to the 105, got off, headed towards the airport. Now I believe we're back in the Inglewood area here. And these LAPD officers, I wonder, Kathy, is it because they believe that the driver's armed, they're staying this close? Because typically at speeds this high, even on surface streets, they typically go into what's called tracking mode, where they just allow the chopper to follow, given they don't want to, irritate the driver to have them cause, a jump there, Ryan. That was wild.
Yeah, we saw that. Definitely sparks flying, and it got at least 4 or 5 feet of air. It seemed like that was really dangerous.
Yeah, definitely authorities are not going to like that action. I mean, it's already been bad enough. It's a possible armed suspect, stolen vehicle, going at these high rates of speeds, willing to have these close calls and put the public in danger. And now we're seeing this extra erratic driving. They're going to want to put an end to this as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah. Especially in these really, really tight residential neighborhoods where there's, maybe 1 or 2 car lengths for a vehicle to get through. So, it crossing over the 405 freeway now, and then appears to be headed southbound. So really paralleling the 405 freeway.
Well, now I'm really wondering if they stay on surface streets, they don't get on a freeway. Maybe the driver will be going slow enough and they could try a pit. I'm not sure.
This is so dangerous. So many red lights being blown through here, Ryan. It's so dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to your point, Kathy, with the pit, it's just, you can really see the dust getting kicked up, going in that center divider there. Oh, yep.
Oh, look at
that
this.
was another, right, you could tell that was another close call. So we're right, some of these larger buildings by LAX, oh man, yeah, it's really, really, it's a really, really dangerous situation out here.
Yeah, and how frightening for other drivers who just really don't see this coming, and all of a sudden they've got this car speeding by them. It's a very unsettling. It's unsettling to watch, but I can't imagine being in traffic there. Again, another reason why they just want this to all come to an end and do it as quickly as possible. We see people out there. There are pedestrians, there are people on scooters out there to the left, and it's just very scary. We talk about how there's not a lot of traffic, but it doesn't take much.
And now this person approaching the airport, Ryan.
Yeah, we are approaching the terminal. You can see that the people mover tracks right there. So this is really, and it's full speed through this red light. Oh man, thank goodness there was no one else going through that. But yeah, it is a little bit darker part of this sort of airport area, but really, really getting close to the terminal here. And you can see that the further that we get, the shot gets, you can tell it's really like, oh, there's actually going to be a red light. And there's another officer waiting right there and
almost
blasting through that light
red
right
light.
there.
Wow.
Another red light.
And I see more officers coming on the side right now, too, on the street there.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so this driver is making a bunch of different maneuvers there, but we can see, picking him right back up next to that new metro line there. So really another light there that this driver is blasting through. But actually looks like they made a left-hand turn, and this might be another freeway that they're getting back on.
That's what I was thinking. It certainly looks like it's possible.
Is that the 405 there, Ryan?
Yes, yeah, it is the 405, correct.
It almost looks like, I mean, it's tough to say from our vantage point. Oh, no, I was going to say that maybe those officers may have pulled off, but I think that vehicle, even on surface streets, is going so fast. These officers are trying not to hurt anyone else on the road, and it's such narrow streets through this part of Inglewood as well, Ryan. I think we're down to, just 2 lanes here?
Well, actually, we're on La Cienega, so this little stretch is actually a little bit wider. But the issue with that is that there's that many more people out and about.
Yeah, I was
actually was
say.
on La Cienega early today. It was more traffic than I thought it was going to be, and you can tell it's still the case now as this driver swerves and weaves through some of this traffic here.
Yeah, and it can be really dangerous when you're on surface streets. You just see more traffic, and you've got more signals to worry about, just more people out there. Just is a more dangerous situation.
Exactly, and yeah, so we just made a right-hand turn off of La Cienega. So a little bit less busy of a street, and like you said, Jonathan, yeah, this one's down to like 1 or 2 lanes. So it definitely just scary for other people that could be out and about right now.
Let's talk about some of the options. What can they do at this point? Just continue to follow? We're on a narrow street right here.
It's a residential street. And
yeah,
there's someone right there in the street.
In the street right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yikes, that was close. Yeah, there was someone just right in the middle of the street there. Thankfully, the lights and sirens, they were able to see those because of how dark it was here. But very, very residential neighborhood, and you can see by our shot that it's almost hard to follow this. But you can see that night sun really illuminating it as we get through some of these tighter roadways.
And even the night sun, the LAPD chopper or what other law enforcement chopper it belongs to is even struggling to keep up at times because, you know, this car is obstructed by these homes and apartment buildings. And one issue we do see, Kathy, when we run into residential areas like this during a chase is people don't always know where they are. They'll run into a dead end or a cul-de-sac, an alley with no end. And so they'll get trapped in a sense and get stuck or either run or finally give up. And we're hoping that this driver gives up because this is becoming increasingly dangerous. We just saw that person who was standing in the middle of the street had no idea that a chase was coming down that street.
Oh, that's what's so scary about it. But I wonder, do you think this person knows where they're going, or are they just literally driving around?
So far, it doesn't seem like they know where they want to go, right? This person has not really circled in any way, but now this is the first real time that we've seen them in a residential neighborhood pretty consistently. Are they getting back on the freeway here?
Yes, they do appear to be getting back
next to it.
Or at least they're paralleling the freeway at the moment. But if they get a chance to, it doesn't seem like the driver. If they get a chance to go on the freeway, that seems like what they've been wanting to do.
And yet getting off the freeway at times and back on surface streets. So it doesn't really seem to be a set pattern to what they're trying to do.
No, there really isn't. I mean, we have seen a few U-turns already. It was on the 105 freeway earlier, headed east, and then made a U-turn, headed west, and then headed towards LAX, and then that's put us now into the Inglewood area. So yeah, it's really no rhyme or reason here.
If you're watching and wondering about the shot, you may have seen a plane fly through Ryan's shot there, News Chopper 4, up over the Inglewood area near LAX. And so we will continue to follow the very latest on this chase. It looks like we just lost the signal there for a moment. A driver wanted, armed driver wanted for a stolen vehicle. We'll see if we can pick up the chase. We'll be right back.
Hey there, NOC. Good right now. Okay, thank you. Copy that. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this thing is. Yeah. Let's see. We're shooting north. Yeah. Yeah. On the way. Yep. And I just want to confirm we have a shot. There, you guys, the shot is up. I have no IFB, no. Yeah. Okay, cool. And yeah, I have no IFB in News Chopper 4, no IFB. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, it sounds kind of like it. Yes. 10 seconds. Copy that, 10 seconds. All right. So we are headed kind of towards the Alameda corridor. This was going on Slauson. You can see it. It's a high rate of speed. It's been at a high rate of speed ever since we've been above this for over an hour now. But we're going Slauson eastbound. We're really approaching Halldale kind of at the moment. You can see it's that red vehicle that's going to be coming there.
Have been chasing now for about a good part of an hour now, going at these crazy speeds, 100 miles per hour at times. Last time we talked to you, you counted 4. We saw another close call. We've seen pedestrians out on the streets, on surface streets, and for a time there, going through really narrow streets and residential areas.
It's been all over. We first picked it up around the Dodger Stadium area, through downtown and Chinatown, picked it up on the 110 freeway to the 105, and then the driver turned around and headed towards the airport, the Inglewood area. Now we're back towards, I think he said we were on Slauson here, and it's just been a high rate of speed, whether it's surface streets or the freeway, and it really gives police very few options in terms of how to stop this chase.
And they really do want to stop it. It's not just like a following where they're, just keeping track of the person. These are dangerous maneuvers, and it makes it hard for them to really do anything about it, although we're seeing a turn right now. And we're seeing traffic, a lot of traffic for the first time.
And this driver is not afraid, as you see here, to go in the opposite lanes of traffic, blowing through red lights. As you mentioned, we did see at least one pedestrian that had to get out of the way of this chase that suddenly turned onto the street they were on. And again, the issue is you see these LAPD officers, how close they are to this vehicle, because they don't want to lose this driver even remotely. Again, they believe this driver is armed. They believe that vehicle is stolen, as the officers all have to swerve around an innocent driver there as the driver of this chase continues to blow through red lights. And again, it shows you they don't want to let this go. They don't want to just put this into tracking mode, risking this driver getting away.
No, they want to bring this to an end. We've seen U-turns at times. We've seen the driver getting air, going so fast over a bump. That is extremely dangerous driving. They want this to be over and not to have anyone injured in this, and take the suspect into custody as easily as they possibly
can. So here
can.
It's getting interesting. Look how many cars there are. They're officially blocked in. And, this driver now looks like it made a left turn on this street here. Ryan, where are we now? This is getting really serious.
Yeah, well, you can see it's coming underneath the 110 freeway there. What we have is right around 78th Street, and looks to be making a left-hand turn. If he hugs left here, then we're going to be headed on the 110 freeway once again.
All right, and so far with the freeway speeds, all we've seen is high speeds, but LAPD right behind. And it does appear, Ryan, that we are getting back on the freeway here.
Yes, yeah, we're back on the freeway, so this is the 110, but just as soon as we got on, we're getting off. So exiting the 110 freeway at Gage Avenue.
Wow, more of that erratic driving. Again, something we picked up about an hour ago. This driver possibly armed. We don't have confirmation, and we're thinking this is a stolen vehicle. At least that's the information that the desk here at NBC is getting from the police. We have police there in pursuit. CHP up above, we understand. So we're just waiting to see what's going to happen as they continue to weave through the streets.
And there was talk about CHP officers possibly taking over this chase when this chase was mostly on freeways, but over the past 20 minutes or so, we've seen this chase exclusively on the surface streets around the LAX area, now through other parts of South LA, and that is what we're seeing here, as it appears that perhaps this vehicle's entered maybe another residential area, given how dark it is right now, but it is tough to see. Ryan Williams in News Chopper 4 doing a great job following this. We know it's a difficult one, Ryan, and it's also been difficult. We've noticed that the night sunlight isn't really tracking it. Is the CHP still overhead in the air?
Well, the same rules that apply to us really kind of apply to the LAPD airship and CHP airships when it comes to the LAX airspace. The LAX airplanes do take precedence, so some of this airspace is really tricky for even those police helicopters to get in the way. But at the moment, we are seeing this driver continue to make turns right around the area where this pursuit actually right near where it began. That was actually, that was really, really close. We saw another driver slam on the brakes there as this driver made a left-hand turn on a red light.
Yeah, just another one of those close calls that we have seen tonight. When we were talking to you earlier, you believed it was only one person in the vehicle. At least you didn't see another. So that's what we're going on right now, is that police are chasing one person in this vehicle, stolen vehicle, possibly armed. So this is one of the most serious situations for police. Even if they could do a pit maneuver, it's a dangerous procedure, because then you end up with the car facing you, and that's the last thing that they want to do in a situation like this, when you have a desperate person wanting to get away who is also armed.
It's such a lose-lose situation right now, because they don't have that air support to follow this vehicle. There's even more pressure on those ground officers to stay behind this, but to stay behind it means you might be, irritating the driver, only forcing them to go even faster, which makes this situation even that much more dangerous. As we continue to follow this looks like it's on East 74th Street. Not a lot of traffic in this area. Almost looks like, Kathy, an industrial area.
It does.
But we're coming up on yet another intersection. It appears the driver is slowing down just slightly.
Not smoke, it's just dust from an alleyway. That wasn't a street, that was just like an alleyway.
Yeah, again, another tight situation there, and all of those patrol vehicles following right behind. They have stayed pretty close to this driver, even at the top speeds, even when the driver was going 90 miles per hour. They were right on top of him, him or her. We don't know any of those details yet about the driver, but right now they're continuing to stay right on him. We're going to continue to follow this.
It sounds like the move, George, thanks.
Right now, as it doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason, as we've seen in other chases, going back to the same area, going back to a place where you're looking to get out of the car. And
it looks like we lost signal there from our News Chopper 4. We are going to continue to follow this chase on our app, NBCLA, and our website, NBCLA.com. A brand new Saturday Night Live is coming up next.
All right. Thank you. Oh, tricky. Copy. I'm seeing flashing, never mind. So, we are in a tricky spot. We will try to pick this back up for you. Here, we can see it's very dark, some of these street lights. But you can see the night sun there, really illuminating the scene, making other drivers aware that this pursuit is going on. But from what we've seen for the last 10 or 15 minutes, this driver has been weaving, making left turns, right turns, not as much U-turns, but really like lefts and rights. This section of southeast Los Angeles, some of these streets just, yeah, they don't always connect straight through. So we're seeing this driver make those left and right-hand turns as the streets allow. 59th Street. And yeah, we have picked this car back up, but you can see, I mean, these, our speedometer's not on. Wow, really just blasted through that red light there. Oof, brutal, brutal, brutal. That could have been so dangerous. And these speeds, from what I can just tell, it appears to be about 80 miles an hour. Full speed on these residential roads. You really don't know who's out and about. It's a Saturday night. Oh man, yeah, this can be a really, really dangerous scenario. We do have the night sun up ahead as we come up onto this next major. And yeah, plenty of people out and about in some of those parking lots with food stands. This is just, it can be a really dangerous scenario if this driver loses control of the vehicle. And yeah, so we're staying on it. Both LAPD and CHP are staying on it. As it works its way on Stanford Avenue here near 94th Street. Continuing to really blow through some of these stop signs. And as we saw earlier, like, when this car hits some of those bumps in the road, it can really, really get some air. And when all four of those tires are not in contact with the road, that can really lead to some bad scenarios. So we are seeing this driver on Avalon Boulevard now. There is another ambulance actually that I'm not sure had anything to do with this, but thankfully that ambulance came in and had traffic already stopped. Oh, so you can see there's some pedestrians and cross traffic here. When this driver really, went through there, and another driver had to slam on the brakes. We are coming up to yet another freeway. So this is the 110 freeway northbound. So headed northbound on the 110 freeway from Century Boulevard. Earlier in this pursuit, we saw the driver headed southbound on the 110. Took the HOV fast track lanes and stayed up above it. As long as, if that driver decides to do that again, we'll be able to keep eyes on it. But if the driver does not take those fast track lanes, then it might be a little tricky. Just like right now, we have the sound wall that we are just behind. But you can see that night sun, and yeah, you can see that red sedan there. Really flying up the 110. can see those ground units are right behind it. They've been right behind it for over an hour now, as well as that airship up ahead. So as we pick this back up right behind the that sound wall there, you can see all of those units behind it. At one point, I counted about 8 units out the window, just on the ground with multiple others positioned nearby. So it does appear that this driver has exited the freeway, but still running parallel. So could be headed right back up. And from what I can tell, it does look like the driver exited the freeway and then continued northbound on the 110. So really dangerous situation when, so we are getting somewhat of a pattern. So exiting the freeway here. So a lot busier. And headed back southbound. This is Broadway. So southbound on Broadway, southeast LA. Broadway is 2 lanes wide for each way. Actually, taking a hard right turn, almost that LAPD officer had to make a harder turn. But you can see right here. This is really the area that we initially heard that this pursuit started. So right around the 60th Street and off of the 110 freeway. So in the 60s, this driver may be looking for somewhere to ditch the vehicle. We're really seeing this is the slowest that we've seen the driver at this point. We might be seeing this come to a close. Hopefully, this driver just decides to give up and have a peaceful ending here. We are seeing some doors open from LAPD. Oh, man. So we'll see if this driver decides to surrender at this point. We have both our digital and optical doublers on, so this is the closest view that we can get you safely. You can see we have officers out of the car. Our pilot George has us in a great position, right aligned with this vehicle, so we can see right almost into that windshield. But if you're just joining us, as we mentioned before, we are just outside of the LAX Class Bravo airspace, and that essentially forces us to get. We have to allow the LAX airplanes to land safely, so that forces us to have this somewhat of a far shot. But as you can see, we are seeing some officers there getting behind those cruisers and getting in position. But hard to tell. I mean, it also could be possible that this suspect bailed just from the way that these officers are kind of their gestures and their body language. It does seem usually they would be getting cover behind their vehicles, but from what I can see here, it doesn't appear that those officers are okay. So I'm getting some word from our pilot here that the car actually stopped running. So really the best case scenario that we hope for in these pursuits is that hopefully the driver runs out of gas, the car stops working, and without any sort of accidents or injuries or anything, anyone being hurt from this. So right now we're hearing that this driver is trying to restart the vehicle at the moment, but the vehicle is stalled and he's trying to restart it from what we're hearing here. So we're just off of Broadway. Not far, Broadway near 60th. So this is really close to the 110. If If I widen a shot out just a little bit, you can see the 110 freeway is just to the west of this whole scene going on, and you have another unit there blocking off Broadway. Go ahead, Bill. The Bravo got special permission. We're over here with the other media. We can't get closer than this, unfortunately.